Good morning, America. My name is Akunji Agbola Akinwale Lawrence. And in this video today, uh, I'll be analyzing to the best of my ability uh, the political tactical mistakes of Obama. The political tactical mistake of Obama. And the inherent characteristics. The problem is not that we humans don't make mistakes. I make a lot of mistakes. But when we make mistakes, we correct it. The ability to make mistake and correct it is very, 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 very important. When I say mistakes, even mistakes that are so obscure, even we can, until they bring it to your attention, you will not even know it. Everybody does. That is why it is the best thing to do to a friend is to correct them. Perhaps they don't even know. Perhaps they don't even know. Every problem, every national problem we're going through now in the United States of America can be traced back to the tactical political mistakes of Obama. If I say that, people will say, wow, how could it be? He has nothing to do with all this. Yes, he has nothing to do with it on the superficial level. But if you go deep in, you will discover that everything happening in the United States of America right now that leads to all this problem I'm trying to analyze, I'm trying to bring to the attention of the American people can be traced back to the political, not the word, political, tactical mistakes of President Obama. Let me explain. Nobody knew Biden. Nobody knew Biden. Biden was a senator who give off gaffes every now and then. Say the damnedest thing in public and damn the consequences. And people berated him for that. Some laugh at what he says, but nobody want him higher than a senator. At no time does any American politician want Joe Biden higher than a senator. A senatorial position they could tolerate. Going further into politics, like becoming the president of the United States, they can handle it. And the first time he tried to run for the presidency, they actually make it known. No. But one way or the other, he was able to understand what goes on in politics and how politicians are made that lead them to victory in electoral positions. And he took the step one after the other to make sure he is elected president. The moment Joe Biden was elected president, all bets were off. That was the beginning of our problem. Let me explain one thing. The problem Mr. Donald J. Trump has as a president can be handled because it is visible. It could be handled because it was what? It was visible. Every problem that was emanating from the Republican stronghold as a result of Donald J. Trump was well handled. The country could handle it because it was clear. We laugh about it, then we take action. We laugh about it, then we take action. But the problem Joe Biden had as a president, the American people couldn't handle it. No, 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 no. The American people couldn't handle it. It was too much for the American people. This is why I blame Obama for everything, which is not good. It's not good to blame somebody for things they never did. But it's not him that is the problem. It's his political actions. Nobody knew Biden until Obama made Biden his vice president. Nobody. Who wants Biden to be president? Nobody. Without Obama, there was no way Joe Biden could have been president of the United States. It was practically impossible. It was practically impossible. He made him the vice president. The moment he made him the vice president, it's like giving him the limelight. That perhaps you guys don't know this guy. Hey, here he comes. And one way or the other, we were made to accept him as a person we shouldn't reject, primarily because of his flaws. So it was Obama that anointed him vice president, that gave him like the authorization to become the president. Be careful who you campaign with. Be very, very careful. Be very, very careful. In the era of Obama, I believe it was in the second time, as the Holy Spirit let me know, Obama was informed by the intelligence circle that Mr. President Obama, perhaps you don't know, let's lay it on you. Mr. Joe Biden, your vice president, is the Grand Marshal. The Grand Marshal. That means the overall ruler of the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. Remember, the Ku Klux Klan is a racial organization of hatred in the United States of America. The KKK is a race organization in the United States of America. So how could your vice president, and you are the first black president we have, whatever you say goes. If you tell us to turn right, we turn right. If you tell us to turn left, we turn left. You are like the president we never had. When they told him he was the Grand Marshal of the KKK, your home vice president, and you're a black man, that was a no-no. In that instance, if his political ingenuity was to max out, you remove him immediately. It would be a political storm, but it was a political storm that was absolutely necessary. As he removed Joe Biden, then Joe Biden and tell the whole world why you removed Joe Biden, that I'm the first black president of this nation. And Joe Biden cannot be the Grand Marshal of the KKK. No, for him to be the Grand Marshal of the KKK, that speaks volumes. I don't want this stupidity. He got to go and appoint another vice president. Mr. Joe Biden's political career will have ended Because if people knew that Joe Biden, nationwide, that Joe Biden was the Grand Marshal of the KKK, as at the second term Obama was in office, forget it. Nobody, he cannot even run for presidency. But Joe Biden, as a property, as a characteristics, and the characteristics is it comes in always like an angel of light. Every time he's caught doing anything, it comes in humble. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. And people forgives him. That doesn't change what he has in his mind. That doesn't change his characteristics. That doesn't change what he's going to do way into the future. It's not going to change. But he begs for forgiveness. So you forgive him. And he had a very smooth two-term presidency. But at that time, that was the first political tactical mistake he made. Had he made the whole world know that Joe Biden was the Grand Marshal of the KKK, Joe Biden's political career would have ended. But he never did. The problem with Obama is not making a political mistake. But when he makes a political mistake, he does not correct it. He let it be. As I continue in this story, I will now tell you where he could have what? He could have gone in and correct that political mistake, but he will refuse to. What happened next? Joe Biden started to run for presidency. Because of his previous characteristics as the vice president of a black man who was in the White House, all the black lawmakers rallied around him. He was losing. He was about to fall off the race until a congressman, is it North Carolina or South Carolina, decided to give him a push. We know Joe Biden, and Joe Biden knows us. He never knew Joe Biden. If he knew Joe Biden, he would take his gun and hunt him down. Joe Biden is horrible. He's an horrible, horrible man. Horrible. Horrible human being. If they know who Joe Biden is, they will have hunted him down. Joe Biden is a horrible human being. So Joe Biden became the president of the United States. How was he able to become the president of the United States? Obama campaigned for him. Without Obama's help, he will never, never become the president of the United States. That was the second problem. Had they corrected his first problem? You know, this guy was the KKK, the head of the Ku Klux Klan, the Grand Marshal of the Ku Klux Klan. That negates his presidency in a multiracial environment. But he campaigned for him to be the president. And Joe Biden won. And the moment Joe Biden won, the trouble started. The trouble started. Because Joe Biden is all smiling and, he's an elderly man, treat him nice. But behind the scene, Mr. Joe Biden is a monster. He take a black baby, snatch it from the mother, bang it against the grill, and hit it raw. I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. All captured on video. His bodyguards put a gun to the chest of the mother, so the mother couldn't do nothing. She cried for days. Who's gonna pay this? Who's gonna pay this? And he was the president of the United States at that time. Who's gonna pay this liability? They've ruined what we call liability. Liability should be a minimum thing. That is a mistake made at the highest level of government that could be corrected and the liability paid minimum. But no, they make such liabilities that people will say, what the heck are you guys doing? Bang the baby, the black baby, against the rail and hit it raw. Snatch it from the mother. Up to today, nothing has been done against Joe Biden. They let him finish his 4 years and go back and retire as a president. That is why I said making him the president was a total mistake. Had Obama not supported him, he can't get anywhere. He is the master campaigner. Without himself, he can't get anywhere. And he knows it. That was a political tactical blunder. He could have done like the rest of the crowd. You ever see Bush come up and campaign for anybody? No. You ever see Clinton come up and campaign for anybody? No. The moment they finished their presidency, that 8 years was enough. It was enough headache. They don't want no more. That 8 years was enough headache. But they were holder. Every time they put a political stamp on anybody, people will vote for the person. Blindly, people will just vote. Remember, it was during the era of Joe Biden that the Nigerian lady Diola, a friend of Karen Jim Perry, the press secretary, was raped in the White House by the president, killed in the White House by the president, dismembered in the White House by the president, cannibalized in the White House by the president. Do you know the level of liability that is against the United States? That is still pending. That is still pending. These are atrocities. It was during Joe Biden's era that money was stolen, printed in excess, airlifted as weaponry, stored in the bunkers of Netanyahu and in the climate control warehouses of Netanyahu. One single political tactical mistake, unknown to the person who made the mistake, is costing America a lot. A lot. It was during the era of Joe Biden that my finder's keeper was dug up and stolen. He gave the order, they stole it. They have to go and retrieve the gold from Delaware when he retired. He wasn't giving it back. It was during the era of Joe Biden that everything in my storage was looted. My certificates, my documents, my bachelor's, my A-level, my O-level were with Joe Biden. They asked him, what are you going to do with all this? He said, when it's dead, I will use it to remember him. Now they want to give it back to me. Hell no, I'm not taking that. That's the evidence an American president stole from me. Why would I take it back? I didn't keep it. That's the court evidence. For weeks, for months, I told them, deliver it to a federal judge. Deliver it to a federal judge. They never did. At the time, I had a dream I couldn't believe. They said you threw everything in the fire. I said, That's the American headache. Liabilities everywhere. Liabilities everywhere. It was during the era of Joe Biden that the money going into my bank account was snatched and divided between both presidents, Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. It was unbelievable. Horrible, horrible liabilities he was doing. Horrible, horrible liabilities he was doing. Now, when Donald J. Trump came in as the 47th, it became a continuation because he never addressed all the political liabilities of Joe Biden. He just continued. He just continued. Without Obama's help, he will never become president. Joe Biden will never become president. And all this wouldn't happen. Now, when Donald J. Trump came in, for Donald J. Trump to be elected president, this is where Obama comes in. For Donald J. Trump to be elected president, Obama campaigned for Kamala Harris. Obama reads the intelligence report. So Obama knows what is happening in government. Obama knows that the election was rigged. Obama did nothing. That is why I said it's one thing to make a political calculation or miscalculation. But when it's a miscalculation, to correct it immediately. If I campaign for Malia in Harvard to become the secretary of the student union, and the election was stolen, and I have documents to show that the election was stolen, I will be in the forefront to get that election and give it to the right person. I will be in the forefront. But he kept quiet. The election was stolen and nobody did nothing. Remember, the time allotted for the campaign of Kamala Harris was so short, it was unbelievable she even went this far. And she was still packing stadiums. They were able to raise over $1 billion. In fact, by the time the election was over, she was still holding her electoral body. Her campaign was still holding people. And Donald J. Trump offered to pay. So I got money left over. If she wants me to pay the debt, I got money left over. He knew what he did. He stole the election from Kamala Harris and then killed her to silence everybody. And then decapitated the body. And then the body was cannibalized. The liability is beyond. You see, it's one liability after the other. That is the problem. The liability is beyond comprehension. If when the election was found to be rigged, all of a sudden somebody stood up and said, "Hey, we cannot install this guy as the president in January 20th." Hell no. Or a day after he was installed, somebody raised the objection. No. We gotta go to court. We gotta get this guy out. We gotta go to court. But they refused. And all these people knew that the election was rigged. The moment they made Donald J. Trump the president, I said it. And I make sure the authorities were hearing me. I was on camera 24/7. I said this election is rigged. I don't have proof right now, but this election was rigged. People were leaving the rally of Donald J. Trump halfway into the rally. And his opponent, Kamala Harris, was packing stadiums. How and how did this happen? It was rigged. He said it with his own mouth. Said by the time he brought Elon Musk and all these hacking boys into Pennsylvania, they spent 1.5 months. Before you know it, all the computers, all the vote counting computers in Pennsylvania were dancing to the tune of Donald J. Trump. He rigged the election. The whole world knew he rigged the election, and they did nothing. It's one thing to make the mistake, but the mistake got to be corrected. The mistake has to be corrected. I've made tons of mistakes in my life. Tons of mistakes. But in as much as I know this is a mistake, I want to correct it. I want to correct it. You don't have to correct it by starting trouble. No. You could jolly well correct it by just going on national television and say, hey, this happened. Oh. We don't have the proof now. Or this is the only proof we have. Oh. But we're going to revisit this case. This is what is going on. Plain and simple, Shikina. Plain and simple. But nobody did. If you campaign for him, and they now killed her, if you campaign for her, and they now killed her, you have the right. You have the know-how. You have to tell your story. You have to tell the world. You cannot keep quiet. It's impossible. You cannot keep quiet. People saw both of you together. They have the video. You were on television campaigning for her. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was smiling. Everybody voted for her. The election was stolen. You did nothing. Now she is being killed and cannibalized. And you still keep quiet? No, you have to say something. Making the mistake is one thing, but it has to be corrected. No matter how bad. Even if you correct it and the whole country don't move your way, it's okay. You've done your best. Just leave the rest. You've done your best. Just leave the rest. We humans can only do so much. You've done your utmost best. Just leave the rest. When there is now trouble, as we have trouble now, people will refer back to what you said. People will refer back to what you told them, and they say, "Oh, point of correction. He did come out on national television and told us that's what happened." And that is it. And that is it. And that is it. With the era of Daniel J. Trump, the money in Israel is still in Israel. The money in Israel have not been brought back to the United States. These are looted money from the what? From the treasury of the United States. It has to be brought back. It's one thing to steal. Another thing is to be caught. Once you're caught, you have to bring the money back. You cannot tell us the money stays there. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? These are the tactical mistakes of Obama. Tactical political mistakes. Don't get me wrong. On his, as a person, he did nothing wrong. He lived a beautiful life. But his political mistakes led to all these people in power. And they were not checked. They were not checked. He rigged the election, you didn't check him. Had you checked him when he rigged the election, you cannot kill her. Now he killed her, you didn't say nothing. Are you kidding me? That is why I made that video, that Obama has to come on national television and tell a story I've never heard. And tell a story I've never heard. That in a country, Bush has to do the same thing. That in their country, Clinton has to do the same thing. That in their country, somebody ran for an election, won the election, the election was rigged. The person who came into power stole the election. Nothing happened. Then he killed his opponent. And we all should keep quiet. What the fuck? What the fuck? That is a no-no. That is why Obama has to tell a story. I don't know which story he's going to tell. I don't know which story he's going to tell. Sometimes The problem with we humans is not that we didn't try. It's not that we didn't try to correct the errors we have. It's that we keep our mouth shut. That is why I like noisy people who don't keep their mouth shut. Because most often they tell us what's on their mind. If you have a wife who always fights with you, everything she has against you will be laid down on the table. If you have a wife who just keep quiet, oh, you're in trouble. Because you don't know when she's angry, you don't know what's going on. And those are the political tactical mistakes of Obama. And who's going to fix it? Obama is going to fix it. I've said it before, and go look at my previous video. Obama created a problem politically, unknown to him. We've identified the problem. Obama has to come and fix it. That is why I said laughingly, at the age of 90, he will still be reading. He will still be reading an intelligence report. How is he gonna retire now? How is he gonna retire? He has to come back and fix all this shit. He has to come back and fix all this shit. He has to come back and fix all this shit. He has to stripe up with guns on his hips, like I saw him in my dreams, and go arrest the president. He has to arrest the president. He has to arrest Donald J. Trump. He has no choice. He has no choice. So America, get ready for the scenario, the biggest scenario we've ever seen. Mr. Donald J. Trump must be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Joe Biden must be arrested and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. It's a must. It's a must. There is no way out. He has to relinquish authority. He has no business being the president of the United States. None. He has no business being the president of the United States. He has to go. He has to relinquish authority. Everybody caught in the White House when Kamala Harris, implicated in also when Kamala Harris was what? Was killed, must be arrested and must be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. That is why I said all the senators, all the governors implicated, all the dignitaries implicated, surrender yourself to the authority. You have no choice. Failure to surrender yourself, they're going to gun you down. This is of national importance. They're going to gun you down. And there you have it. Again, my name is Akonji Agbola Kamale Lawrence. These are all my personal little brain reasoning. I'm subject to correction. I'm subject to anytime anybody want to correct me, come on national television, make it public. I'm subject to correction. Just Lawrence thinking aloud. May the Lord be with us in Jesus' name. Stay blessed, America. Stay safe.